Hey, how's it going? I'm Fridge, welcome to the channel. Today, before Path of Exile 2's new update, the third edict, I wanted to go over all the best tools and add-ons that I use every day while playing PoE. First of all, the new update comes out August 29th at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The league is looking really great. They're buffing a lot of stuff, and they're actually adding a new Abyss league mechanic. But this is more so a video for newer players that have never played Path of Exile before because they're doing a free weekend. And there's tons of helpful tools for Path of Exile that I think everyone should use. The most important tool for Path of Exile is the trade website. Now, in the new update, they're actually going to have in-game trading, but I think the website is still going to be very important for a few different things. The in-game trading, they said, isn't as fully flushed out as the website, but it still looks like it's going to be really good. So you can use either or. I think the trade website will be very useful still. One thing to make sure on the trade website to do is go right here and make sure you select the third edict league. Make sure you're not in standard or hardcore. If you're playing hardcore in the new league, then do the hardcore. Here it will say the third edict, or actually it might say Rise of the Abyssal. If you see here, I'm not sure how they're going to label that. I could go on for an hour plus about the trade website. This is just kind of showing you the tools that you can use, not really a guide on how to use them. So there are plenty of YouTube videos that go into depth on how to use these, but you can search items here. So if you want boots, you can search all the different kinds of boots, you can add like different stats if you need mana on them, stuff like that. But yeah, PoE trade website is not necessarily essential anymore because you have the in-game system, but they can be used interchangeably. The next tool that is absolutely essential is a loot filter. When you play the game, every single item will show up if you have no loot filter. And when you get to end game, there's just so many items scattered everywhere, you won't be able to tell what's good and what's bad. So you can set up a filter on this website, Filterblade.xyz, and then make sure you navigate to POE2 here. And then you can sign in up here. See, I have my Fridge account signed up. And then you can create a filter. And like as you drag this over each one, it'll kind of give you what this is recommended for. So like soft, barely hides anything, only focus on highlighting, so it adds like some fancy colors and stuff to things, and it's not recommended for endgame gameplay. I would say regular is pretty good for campaign. Yeah, you can crank it up, so like once you get really far into endgame and you only want the best of best loot, then you can do like uber strict or uber plus strict. Not only can you adjust these filters, which kind of changes everything for you and helps adjust it easily, but if you want to get more in depth, you can go into customize and you can change literally everything here. So if there's like this one item that isn't showing up on your loot filter that you really, really want to show up on your loot filter, you can add exceptions and things like that. So like here you can see I changed my color. Usually it is not, the divine orb is not this color. So I changed the colors to green and purple because I like that. And I could also add new items. So I could add like a chaos orb in here if I wanted. And see, when I add it, it's already in A tier. So no, I don't want to because it's already down here, the chaos orb. Next tab, you can simulate. So you can generate loot and just see, how it looks on your screen. And then style, here's where you can change like all the different colors and get really in depth. And then if we go over here to export to PoE, we can go back to this config screen. You can name it. So the last one that I did was for PoE1. You can set it to public or private. You can add a description. You can do Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. And then once you're done, you hit sync and download. And then you hit save and sync. And this will automatically add it to a folder inside your computer that syncs with your PoE account. So when you open up the game, it will be in there. Or you can download it and add it to the file yourself, but that's really tedious. So now that we're in game, I can show you how to actually add that filter. If we go to escape and then options here, and then you go over to game, there's item filter. So you can choose that folder wherever you put it if you downloaded it manually, or you can select from these drop downs, and here's all the different filters that I've made. This will be only for POE2. I accidentally added this one, named it wrong, ignore that. And then once you select it, hit this little refresh button and it'll update it, and then hit save. Make sure to do that, and then your filter will be applied. The next tool is actually great for finding information. So this is the Path of Exile 2 Wiki. It's actually in early development stages. It's not nearly as fleshed out as the POE1 Wiki is, because it's fairly new, but they do have a ton of information here. I mean, you can find like basically anything in here that you need information on. So if we go to like armor, it will tell us all kinds of stuff, like what stats each base type requires. Just like there's so much stuff. We can search a skill up here, lightning arrow, and it'll give us all like the description and everything over here. It'll tell you different levels and mana costs and how much attack damage it does. You can find basically everything here. And anything that you can't find in the POE Wiki, you can actually find on this website called POEDB. So this is a database mining website. So it basically checks the POE database for updates constantly. So whenever they add new files to the game or anything like that, this website gets automatically updated. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can find on here too. It's just a little harder to actually find information on this website. This can be a little harder to find things. You can search up here. So if we do lightning arrow again, it gives us a similar rundown, but then it gives us like all the database stuff. Kind of sometimes it can be hard to tell what this information is. I mean, it gives you a lot of information, so it's very nice. There's both this and then the wiki. I think the wiki is a little bit better, but that's my personal opinion. Next, if you are looking for build guides, this is a great place. If you don't want to search YouTube, which I recommend just looking on YouTube, because you can find a lot of build guide videos there that are awesome. But on Mobalytics, tons of creators actually upload their build guides on here, and they're usually pretty thorough, and they give you a breakdown on like everything, like all the skill gems you need, the tree, everything like that. So I mean, here there's like all these featured builds. You can get FUB guns build, you know, those are always really good. But there's also like leveling guides and end game guides, mechanic guides. There's so much on this website. It's really nice if you want to like search around and find something. There's a really great guide on here. It's called the POE2 Campaign Layout Guide. So it has Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. It doesn't have Act 4 yet because that's getting added in the next update, and no one knows what it looks like yet. And this will tell you literally everything that you need to know about each act. It will tell you all the zones, what the general layouts tend to look like, where you can find everything. It will tell you like what the suggested route is that you should take in the zone. It'll tell you like where each of the different locations are in that zone. So like if you're trying to get to the Red Veil, then it's most likely over here on the right side of the map, and you'll enter on the left side of the map. Also, it'll tell you what kind of points of interest are on the map. In the Clearfell zone, you want to fight the boss because you get 10 cold resist. It'll tell you that. Or if you go to the mysterious campsite, you'll get a level 1 skill gem. It's very useful. I use this to learn the layout for the first 3 acts of the campaign so I could fly through really fast. Next, another great website for finding builds is actually POE.ninja. So make sure you're over here on POE2 tab, and then you can go to builds if you want. And on here, you can actually search by standard, you can search by the league, you can search by solo self-found, and then solo self-found Dawn of the Hunt. Then from here, you can actually search by character type. So if you're an Amazon, a Deadeye, a Lich, all these different things, you can click on one of them and be like, hey, what is everybody playing? Like, okay, the number 1 person on the website, this is by level, and I believe it's only pulls from characters level 100 to level 97 or maybe 95. So if we click on this guy, it'll show us like all of his gear. It'll show us his skill tree, you know, his jewels. It'll show us all his support gems, everything like that. So if you ever need help finding a build, you can look on this website and see, hey, for this character, like a witch, what are the best players using for gear, for skills, everything like that. The next website that I kind of recommend, it depends on how far you get into the game, and if you start getting really serious about the game, then you'll kind of want to start learning how to craft. So crafting this game is very complicated. There's a lot to it. There's so many different mechanics. It can be kind of broken down pretty easily. There's tons of guide videos out there that can help you. The base level crafting is super simple, but here you can get super in depth or really simple, top of the line. But if say you want a body armor, and then you want a body armor with intelligence on it, you click here and it tells you every stat that can possibly be on a body armor with intelligence. So there's like energy shield, there's intelligence, there's chaos resistance, then there's all of this stuff. So it can kind of help you. It tells you what level you need and stuff like that. There's breakdowns of Path of Exile, this website, that are very long and can give you a really good in-depth explanation. Okay, the next thing I want to go over is no longer websites, but actual add-ons to the game. So things that you'll have to download, applications, things like that help a ton in game with trading or building, things like that. The very first thing we have here is Exiled Exchange 2. So this is a really cool tool that is just on this GitHub here that a person just wrote the code for. It's honestly awesome. And if you want to support them, do that, because this tool is amazing. You really just want to go to download links here and download this Windows 10 Plus installer. So this will work for Windows 10 or Windows 11. Just run the installer. It's super easy. Tons of guides on YouTube on how to install it. This also tells you can go to Quick Start here and it'll tell you how to set everything up. So if we go ahead and launch Path of Exile 2 right here, after we opened up Exiled Exchange 2, we'll see this little notification here. Exiled Exchange 2 is ready and running in the background. That's your sign that it's working, obviously. So if we log in here and then just open up any of our characters, I can show you what Exiled Exchange 2 actually does. So once we're in game and we have Exiled Exchange 2 installed, we can do Shift plus spacebar, go to this little cog wheel to set up the settings. So here we can see the overlay is Shift plus spacebar. You can change that if you want to. There's a ton of different settings in here, too much to go over right now. So the first thing we want to do is the price checker. Right now I'm set up to hold control and then hit D to check prices. I'd recommend looking up a real quick guide on just like some stuff to set up in here. It's really not that complicated, but all you really need is the price checker. So if I cancel here and then we go over to this item, I hit Control and D, then I make sure you're holding Control, because as soon as you let go and you get off the item, it'll hide it. So hold Control and then hit D. So while you're holding Control, hover over this, and then you can let go of Control, and this will stay up. So here you can search all these different items on this armor piece. So if I want to search like an armor piece that has lightning damage to attacks and lightning resistance, and then I go to search, I can see all the different prices. Then I can also hit trade, and it'll open up my web browser directly to the Path of Exile 2 trade website as long as I'm logged in. And it'll search this item, the furtive wraps, and what price it has. Yeah, it's pretty simple and easy to do. But yeah, super useful tool for being able to price things that you have just found. So after Exiled Exchange 2, for all of our price checking, so you can be able to sell things on the trade website or in game now that they have added that here in 0.3. The next tool we're going to do is Path of Building 2. So this is Path of Building for Path of Exile 2. And this is the GitHub for it. Here it has all the release notes and things like that. You can scroll down over here and it has the executable. So you can download the executable right here or the portable. I would just recommend doing the executable setup, and it'll install it for you, and then you'll have the Path of Building app. Now, Path of Building is an amazing tool if you want to create your own builds in Path of Exile. Here I have a few of my builds. So I have my 0.3 League starter that I've been working on, you know, stuff like that. So I have like a Deadeye Lightning Arrow, Ranger, You know, it has the whole tree here. This obviously isn't updated for the new update because it hasn't come out yet. You can spec all your points and it'll tell you how much damage you do, how much resistance is. You can go into your skills to set up your skills with your support gems. You can go into your items. You can add in weapons and stuff here. There's tons of configurations, settings, and stuff like that. You can import and export your builds here. There's literally there are videos with tutorials on this. They're hours and hours long. The main thing that I use it for is like if I find a build online that I really like, I find the path of building, I import it, and then I'm able to look at the build, see all the different stats and everything. Look at, you know, what passives they take, stuff like that, what gear they have, and so I can copy it. Makes it super easy. And I just keep this like on my second monitor while I'm playing, so I know like, hey, once I level up, I should take this skill or this skill, you know, things like that. The next tool that I use and have just started using recently actually is Exile UI. So Exile UI is another third-party app developed by a random person that's obviously really smart because this thing is sick. It is so cool. It has so many features that are really, really cool. Right here in the wiki page, it tells you initial setup and quick start guide. It's pretty easy to get set up and everything and install. So Exile UI is an amazing tool. It does a ton of different things. You can set it up so when you start fresh, a brand new character, it will tell you how to get through each zone. It will tell you like what direction to run, what to look for, what things to pick up. So you don't have to look at another guide like this on your other monitor. You can just look at your game. Especially if you don't have two monitors, this would be very annoying to like alt tab back and forth to. So Exile UI is a great tool for that. And it actually has tons of different features. So it has Act Decoder, Act Tracker, has a bunch of different cheat sheets, enchant finders. It just has so much in it. I only use like a few of the features and there's so much more. There's a really great content creator that does videos on how to set it up and different features and settings for it. This content creator right here has some great videos on how to use Exile UI. They just made this Exile UI video for POE2, how to set it up and everything and get it running and everything that it does, but it's really great. I'm just going to show you real quick what Exile UI I use it for. So once we log into the game and we have it launched, there's this little icon up here with a cogwheel and then the skill book from Path of Exile. So if we hit the cogwheel, enter our character's name here, that'll kind of activate it, and then we can hit this little book thing. So if we were at the very beginning of the game, this would tell us what quest we need to do and like what zone we need to go to, things like that. And then like if we're in a map, we could hold down the tab button and it would have a little thing over here that would actually tell you like what direction to go in and stuff like that. It's insanely useful, and I highly recommend go watching that guy's video on how to set it up because it will save you a ton of time running through the campaign, and so you can get to the end game faster and start making some currency. So that is all the tools that I'll be using for the new Path of Exile 2 League. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll be there to answer. If you could leave a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. This is my first video. Any support would be appreciated. I'll also be streaming the new Path of Exile 2 League on Friday as soon as it goes live on my Twitch channel, linked in the description, Fridgely on Twitch. And I'd really appreciate it if you came and supported. Have a good one.